Welcome to the Chakra Hunt, the Chakra Hunt podcast. Welcome, honeys. Grab your snacks, your drinks, because this one is a serious conversation. We need to talk. Okay, so I was inspired by a conversation once with a guy who used to be a client of mine, and that client of mine was attracted to me. And I said, my guy, it is a big, big no. I do not mix my business with pleasure in that kind of way. And he wasn't local. He had left and then he had come back after some time because the summer. And then the one time he was like, can he go on a date with me? And I said, okay, hold up. Let's pull back the reins just a little bit. For me, it's a no. And I said, to be clear, even if you do no longer take my services and you are no longer my client, that does not mean that it opens up the gate for us to explore connection romantically in any way, shape, or form. I thought that I was clear, but it turns out that this is a magician that I was working with, magician energy. Magician energy comes with a lot of convincing. He even said in certain voice notes that it felt like I or he was convincing me. And I was like, well, you is. And let me tell you, with convincing energy, there is magician energy, and it's almost like manipulation. Now, life is constantly manipulated, anyways, right? But there is a vibration of highest alignment to misalignment or completely out of alignment. Now, what I picked up in their energy was a low vibrational state of alchemy that he was trying to do. And I actually started finding like this is why, and this is what is unattractive. Low vibrational alchemy. It is so unattractive. And sometimes you don't understand what it is about the person. But what I understand a little bit more now when I remember that conversation and that time was the fact that it was coming from a low vibrational state. Because no matter how many times I try to say no, he still tried to convince me. And I was like, okay, we need to unpack this just a little bit. Okay, we need to unpack this because if you are wanting to get with me by a means of low vibrational alchemy and manipulation, that is showing me that you are in part of your highest misalignment. You are not aligned because not only are you trying to convince me to manipulate me so that you can almost in your mind still understand that I still got it, as in I, as in you still got it, you are showing me the lack of self love that you have. Now, why would I want to surround myself by someone who lacks self love and dignity for self? Why would I want to do that? Because when you want to do that, that becomes your project. And hence why that's why that relationship had connected with the client. Because then I knew and he knew on a soul level that Us connecting will help the healing for both of us, but from these rightful positions. Do you catch what I'm dropping? It is so important for you and us as a collective to not think just because there is an attraction from one part of the person to another that it is not always romanticized or sexualized. This is the danger with light when it is working with low vibrational energy and people who lack the ability to understand someone's boundaries. Now, all I said eventually was like, you are really confirming a lot of things for me. And not only are you confirming, I missed this part out, is to say that you are giving me content. You are giving me so much content. Okay. So that was some context as to what I really want to talk about. Now, we always talk about, and this has come from religion, rightfully so. I get certain points too. Okay. So, what religion will have us believe is that man looks for a woman and picks a woman. Let me tell you this again. Man looks for a woman and picks the woman. Hence why it's the man who asks the woman to marry him. Right? Just stay with me, right? Okay. So now, this man technically should be connected to God because apparently that is where you are supposed to be connected to, right? God from man, according to religion, is the connector to the woman and the leader of the woman. That is the narrative, right? And once again, like I said, rightfully so. When anyone is doing journalism, you know, most of the time they pick the side of the story that they are going to show, right? It's like saying, I'm turning on the TV. Someone could be on the side of the TV and only hear the TV versus someone who is sitting in front of the TV. Now, you tell me which side of the story is true. All of them. Because it depends on the section that you are hearing, looking, feeling from that story. Right? Everybody has a story to share, and everybody has their own version of what existed in that moment. Caroline Myers said that as a journalist, her lecturer told her, as a journalist, it is very, very important that when you are sharing a story, let's say a building was on fire and some part of it caught fire and some didn't, right? You have to be able to tell the story from all the different sides. I have never lost that thought. I always thought that, you know what? That is so important because if someone is saying that one story is only one side and that's right, you got to question it. You really got to question it because being able to see an object or a thing from all different parts gives you the whole experience of it. Okay, so now we're going into the man must choose the woman because the man is connected to God. Right? Right. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, our species is like, what can I say, changing. We are changing. The movements are changing. When something is in rulership for a long time, there is resistance against it, and resistance can happen in two parts. You could either go hard or you could go soft. But rarely do we talk about the soft. We always talking about the hard, like let's go into the war. No. How about doing war from the inside out? Sorting out your root problems from the heart that needs cleansing and purifying, honey. Because a lot of what is happening with all these wars is these powers want to control in the hope that this is going to bring them joy and satisfaction of who them is. Honey, you need to get to know yourself so well that you are undisturbed because your inner peace extends externally. Okay, so now we have that model, and that resistance was hard. Man must protect, and physically, definitely, man must protect. That's also part of the reason why the structure was a little bit bigger. But we are not accounting at this point in time for, yes, you do get the woman who can look bigger than they man. So I'm just talking typical here, okay? Because, like I said, I know this is taking it from so many different sides of the story, and it might seem like a contradiction, but to save time, let us just say that generally a man has more physical strength than a woman, but it's not to say that now we need to compete against each other to figure out who is stronger than the other, because we are stronger in different ways. They have gotten us competing against each other for good reason. And I wonder why. Well, if you look at what is happening now, you can obviously see why. Okay, you need to tap into the energy if you do not know what I'm talking about. Okay, so now we've looked at the hard part. Now let's look at resistance from the soft part, the surrender, the acceptance, the feminine energy that is more tapped into too from the non-physical form. Okay, so we have the man that was like almost a physical representation, and now we have the divine feminine within the feminine representation. And feminine energy is not always and only connected to the woman. Divine feminine energy is that energy that is unseen. It's from that dark space, that home space, the silence, before anything is projected into and accumulated from energy vibration tapping into the frequency that is physically manifested here on earth. Okay? Does that make sense? So now the divine feminine energy, when it says in the Bible that God said there was an idea that started from an idea, this was from the void. The idea came from the void, the space of unknown where all our senses are connected, our antennas. Our whole bodily system is a whole electric antenna tapped into greater source energy. And depending on how cleansed and aligned you are to that God frequency, will allow you to tap into the frequency externally with so much more ease. But the important thing to be able to align to that frequency is you have to take all those things that are misaligned to you in gratitude. They can never be part of your movement and the version of you moving forward. You can take aspects of it, but not the whole. Do you catch what I'm dropping? So now, woman, because of the womb, are more connected in spirit. That is not always the case. This is dependent on your DNA, your blueprint with your generational curses, your consciousness and lack of consciousness to the veils from your conditioning that have been projected onto you as you. Now, if you do not learn how to become more aware of what is versus what isn't, you will be tapped into the one dimensional narrative that has been projected over centuries. But it's okay. It's a beautiful story. But that's resistance from the hard side, right? We are tapping now into the energy of resistance from the soft side. The softness now, when and if this is a masculine, feminine energy that is in divine union, the two will merge in full alignment and understanding and become one because why? They are in agreement. Now, you will excuse me, I am not trying to push anybody away who is not of the same sex connection. I'm not. It's just because I have never stepped into that I can't speak on your behalf. So I'm not excluding you. I just do not want to speak and throw words on your behalf without knowing from your side. Okay, honey? So please relax and soften any triggers because I can only speak from this side. Okay? So let's continue. Now we have the man and the woman who physically the man is protecting the woman and spiritually the woman is protecting the man. Now, what came before man? The idea, the earth came before anything in the physical manifestation. It came from the earth, which came from the idea. Right? Do you understand? It came from the void, from the space of silence. And then sound and light started projecting through together and forming a relationship. And then forming what we call the inhabitants of this earth today. Okay? So, woman is supposed to protect the man spiritually. The man is supposed to protect the woman physically. Those two have to go hand in hand. Now, when you have the woman who is disconnected from her spirituality, she is going to go in opposing forces and then will allow the man who is only physically or more physically orientated to lead her. Do you understand the mix match of that? Now, from the womb and the void and understanding the moon cycles that we have naturally, we are tapped in. And of course, you can definitely get more feminine men. That is absolutely natural where they have more of that energy. And you can get it in the opposite within a woman. But like I said, I'm specifically from my vantage point of understanding. I'm just specifically dissecting this, but the energies are multidimensional. So it does definitely go beyond the physical. And I get it. And I can talk about that in another stage. But for this talk, please, I'm not excluding anybody on purpose. Well, meanfully, let me just say that it is for this reason of helping you understand just from the male and the female plug, okay? And connection. All right. I don't know why we have to explain ourselves so much nowadays. Goodness. Okay. So let's continue. So now you have the womb, the void, connected to the natural cycles. You have the man who is connected to more of the sun. So the woman is more the moon, the man, the sun. The womb man is the one who is, the wombed man is the one who is tuned in more naturally. Life has already shown us that to the moon cycle. So we are going to change all the time. And it's not to say that the sun don't change, but the two work hand in hand. It is so important. The two cannot coexist without the other. Okay? So, now, the womb, the man who is connected to the natural cycles within, has the deepest connection to the ideas. If you are connected to divine feminine energy, whether you're a man or a woman, you are connected deeply to the ideation state and enjoy that process. Okay? So if you are in that state, you're so connected to God, because then that becomes a physical manifestation from where two or more are gathered. Right when the sperm hits the egg, those two populate and create a child. Right? That child between their two voids is a physical manifestation of their love, of their unhealed and of their unhealed wounds and of their healed wounds. It's a physical representation. So now, if the woman is in full alignment and she is connected to the highest frequency, and she is tuned in, tapped in, and turned on completely, her system is running like, if we are speaking a language, she would be speaking fluently in her system that will be able to communicate directly without competition between the man and the woman, that she will be guiding him because he and she is tapped in, respecting the divine feminine energy. It is so important. So now, if she is in alignment, let me go back to that, she will understand what she is creating and what needs to be birthed here on earth. If she is disconnected through that, through the food, through low self-esteem, where the world is telling her that she ain't good enough and that she has to be all these things when she is already, but it needs to be in her own way. A woman who's tapped into her highest alignment and into the natural cycles can show up fully when she is fully held within that space. There is harmony in that relationship. There is disharmony in a relationship when a woman is trying to compete with a man. So, from the idea and connected to nature, the womb man would generally know what is being created and how she needs to tap herself closer into that. So she will know the type of, should I say, the generations that are going to come through her that she has been gifted to. And whether she physically does it on earth in her lifetime or something she reincarnates into something else in some other way, that is a thread. Okay? So if she's connected, she will know the type of things that she is creating here on earth for the generations to come. She would prepare herself fully for that by making sure that she is in her highest alignment and that she will be able to be so tuned in to the man that needs to be able to and has the capacity to honor and protect all that she has come with him together to in physical manifestation represent to the earth. Does that make sense? There's some cultures and I'm getting like more like East or West Africa. I'm not sure right now, but I have a specific image where the man dress up for the woman. There's a culture, and there are cultures who do this, that the man needs to be chosen through or by a woman. Cultures understand the essence and the power of a woman being able to fully choose who's going to, in the physical form, protect what has been guarded and guided from God. But they have to both connect and be in agreement, equally yoked. You know what I'm saying? So, this is just giving a different perspective. And what I've noticed is that because society will once again go into making us feel like we are not good enough and projecting that constantly through constant suggestion and marketing, that we have to be something other than ourselves. We are stripping that narrative away today. Okay? We are stripping that. And we are all taking back our power. No matter what how you identify yourself, we are all taking back our power. Okay? You're bringing back the self-love. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. Okay? It's very important that we are loving from a space of wholeness. That when I come to you and I am relating with you in full honesty and respect to the divinity within you and within the order of your human beingness, that I'm going to do right by you and I'm going to be aligned right by your side. So we are bringing that back and we are reawakening that within us to say, ladies, get tapped into your menstrual cycle, please. Okay? Do some self study on organizing your womb, cleaning it out, purifying it, watching who enters. Because when a man enters your void, honey, he better be a man who is going to be able to protect what he sees inside your space. It is so, so vital. The foods that we are eating, go back to nature so that we can perceive things better, that we can have clearer intuitions. The clearer your intuition, the cleaner your space, your heart is. Okay? It is of high importance to understand what you are absorbing from an alignment base and frequency space that is connected to God, the highest frequency, love, the highest vibration of love, the highest perspective of love, the one that sees that in the ego it is temporary, but in the spirit it has way more longevity because of who comes after all of this. So I'm just going to encourage you to think a little bit and to think about who you are choosing with your partner, by thinking futuristically, and you kind of work backwards, because then you go, what type of life do I want to have at the end of this? Who do I want to be with? Where am I? What is my last meal if that's the case? And then you work backwards, and then you work backwards, and you get clearer with becoming the version that you see aligned to that version towards the end. So I hope this encouraged you just a little bit, just to think a little bit about who you are bringing into your life. And please be in relationships that are in full agreement. Any relationship that has more questions than answers, and any relationship that keeps you stressed and thinking more about the person than you can of life in your existence and bringing joy towards your life and theirs, you got to be more attentive. Pay more attention to who you are bringing in your life, what you are listening to, what are you consuming, because you are that which you become and focus your attention and all your energy with. So align yourself to the highest frequency and start thinking differently, to just start seeing what were you conditioned with versus what your heart says, and how do I merge those two so that my head, my heart, my body are in alignment too with my ego, my spirit, my soul. Let those walk in agreement. So I'm going to love and leave you. If you want an energy reading, you know where to get to me. DM me. And then please just note, I do not have time to personally message you. So we are not attracting that energy at all. But just so you know, I don't have time to personally message you. So you just know that it's not me. Okay, so please do like, share, and subscribe to this channel. The more people we get to just learn from together, the easier it is for us to be able to think differently and operate differently, and to honor what the triggers are here for us to grow and learn and illuminate that which is in the dark. So, thank you for listening. I'm sending you so much love and joy. And I'm sending you so much clarity and alignment in your life moving forward from today. And I'm sending you so much contentment. Be grateful in what is in your life, because you are living in your prayers. I promise you. Okay, I love you.